Thank you for your time to join us today. For the viewers, could you please state your name and where you are from in Igbo land?
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
My name is Stanley Chinasa Onwachu. I'm from Amoji village in Unkwere, in Unkwere local government area of Imo State, Nigeria.
Very good. Mr. Stanley, Mr. Onwachu, where did the Igbos come from? Who are the Igbos? Could you explain that to me? Your own words.
Well, in my own words, I won't tell you that I was a student of history, but we didn't discuss or go into Igbo history. And I'm yet to learn more. But one thing is, I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. So from my grandmother, from my grandfather, they've always believed in this. Till the present day, younger ones. So that is what I know.
Oh, that's what you know.
And I know that the belief is strong.
That's right.
Whatever happened, when I was a kid, anything that happened, they would say, oh, my parents, oh, Chileku, Israel.
Right.
You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's an exclamation.
Exactly.
Which still exists today. Yes.
I remember as a young person growing up, if we were being naughty, they would say, oh, children of Israel, what are you doing in the street? Go home to your parents.
Exactly.
So, but they never explained that to us, how that came about. But we've seen the elders make this exclamation, as you said now, that, oh, the children of Israel, behave yourselves.
At one point, when I was a kid, when they were mentioning it, I really thought that Igbo was the land of Israel. The way they were saying the children of Israel. I never knew that. I said, okay, we are Igbos, but maybe we are also, or that we are from the land of Israel. That's it.
Igbo history in the West Africa precedes over 3,000 years. That explained the migration from the land of Egypt. From what we know as researchers is that Eri left the land of Egypt when he saw that people was growing in the land and the Pharaoh could become trouble. So he left with his brothers and settled in what is called the Niger area. Now it's called Nigeria. But the parents of the Igbos had never explained their history to their own children. You are quite unique because your grandparents told you this. But not every Igbo had this opportunity to hear this from their parents. We also know that the Igbos first settled at Ibuku. This is another batch of the Igbos who joined their brothers because Eri settled in Anambra State, where he built altar and called upon the name of God and became known as the founder of the Igbo community as we know it today. But are you telling your children, you have children, yes? Are you sharing this heritage with your children today?
Well, I will tell you, if you come to my home, at times, when anything happens to the state of Israel, we get discussing most times them about events in Israel and all the rest. The thing is, for many years, I've been telling them about our history, about our relationship with the state of Israel, about everything. So they've come to believe. My son asked me one day, Daddy, are you saying I'm also an Israeli? I'm from Israel. I said, I'm not saying that it's part of the history. So even my wife, who is Dutch, has realized that. You know, that we always
make reference
to Israel, whatever we do.
Absolutely.
And actually, I've met a Jewish man in a cafe. I didn't know he was Jewish. I went with my brother, who was married to a Dutch lady. So when we got there, my brother introduced me to the man. We got discussing. So the man asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm Nigerian. He said, where? I said, Igbo. He said, I met him at the cafe, not the owner of the cafe. He said, Igbo? He said, wait a minute. He asked my brother what he would drink, that would mention something, and he said, no, I will serve you that. Then he served the lady, that is my sister-in-law, and he came up with special drinks for three. It was greenish, mint type of alcohol, liquor. And then he said, toast to you, brothers. He said, don't ask me, drink first. We drank together. He said, we are brothers. You are Jewish. And I'm also Jewish. That's why I'm giving you. The Igbos are from Israel.
The Igbos is quite unique in Africa. There has been a lot of research to find out where they come from, because the language is unique. And there's no other language like it. And historians have tried to conjecture some theory about this. And I understand there was oral tradition of the Jewish people, which said Eber did not partake in building of the Tower of Babel. When God came down to destroy the languages or change the languages, he said, because you had not participated in this conjecture to build this Tower of Babel up to heaven, I would not corrupt your language. You will remain unique. And because NdiEbeo has also another meaning of NdiEbeo, which means ancient people, we believe that the Igbo language is ancient Hebrew preserved. Now, the Hebrew that is spoken in Israel today is not Pale Hebrew. It is a derivative of Pale Hebrew, but it's not the same Hebrew. We've made always the statement that if Moses is to come down to Jerusalem, he will not understand what they're saying to him today. But if he spoke Igbo to Moses, he will understand that. People ask, why? How can that be? I said, well, we left Egypt when he was there. But we left with that language. And we came and settled in West Africa. He understands this language. And that's the language he spoke. Because Igbo is evil, which is also Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew did not call themselves Jewish people. They call themselves Ebo people, which is the same word as Igbo people. So if you saw Jacob and called him Israelite, he will not look at you. Hebrew, he will not even listen. If you call him Ebo, he will listen and look at you, because that's who he is. That's his tribe, man. Don't forget, Jacob is the first Israelite, yes? So in this way, then the name had to be explained where the name came from. How do you live? Are you practicing some kind of Jewish traditions now, or are you a Christian? How does that work out for you? Because being Igbo is actually a responsibility. You are the people of God who He gave the Torah to, and you have a responsibility.
Coming to that, I was also fortunate during my time. I don't see them more in Igbo land. I saw my grandfather worshiping. What you call Dichi,
which is God.
How he will be pouring libation, appeasing the land of his ancestors, and telling God about the evil things, how God should get rid of the evil things, that if you were a murderer or you were this or that, let the land cleanse it or take you away. All those things, I saw him do that. You understand me? And I also came, my father was a convert too. When the Europeans came, he was converted to Christianity. So that is, I can tell you about my religion today. I'm a Christian by religion. By faith. So you see, my father impacted that on me and my home today. That is what we worship.
This is not quite unique. We think that a lot of the Igbos, or most of the Igbos, are Christians. We think maybe the 95% of them are Christians.
Yes.
And maybe the other 5 sort of believe, but they're not practicing it. But a lot of them are Christian faith.
I will tell you, there's this link.
Okay.
I believe they are holding fast to that tradition. Has a link to the Old Testament, because they still believe, but hearing that Christianity, all those things, they come from the land of Israel.
Exactly.
That is. I think that is.
This is why they convert.
That is it.
Okay.
And that's why they hold strongly to it as of today.
One of the success that the Christians had among the Igbos is being able to connect the dot between ancient Levitical order to that of Christianity. Because as a Christian, we believe that Christ is the fulfillment of prophecy. And because that is the fulfillment of prophecy, you will understand why able people will convert or will join Christianity, because they see it as one and the same. A promise that was made in the ancient times, now fulfilled in Yeshua HaMashiach. Because as Christians, we believe it is the same God that we worship, the same God Moses worshiped. Okay. Something you want to add?
Well, you see, what I want to add is there are things you see. First of all, when you talk about the present day Jews, one thing is there for you. One thing you will notice, first of all, I mean, those ones who are practicing it, is their conservatism.
Yeah.
And coming to Nigeria, who are the conservatives and the Republicans in Nigeria? They are the Igbos.
Yeah, they're the Igbos. Tradition.
Check the Jewish people. Where do they fare in economics? Trading.
The same thing.
The same thing with the Igbos. So you see, there are so many things that, you know, and I would say their intuition is also part of it. Their adventurism is also there. So they have peculiar tendencies, similar tendencies, So I cannot, you know, time is something that is not always on every person's side.
No, the history is there. It is not something. There is historic fact documented. There's proof. There is artifact. There's all kinds of documents. One of the things that the Igbos lost in is the Biafra War. We believe after this war, during this war, a lot of artifacts was destroyed during this war. Therefore, many information were lost. But still, there's much more preserved, because if you go to Obugad in Aguleri, he shows you his father's writings in Pale Hebrew, ancient Aramaic. They tell you where the people came from. So then again, the Eri family are able to connect their father to God in the book of Genesis 46 verse 16. God has sons, Eri, Arode, and Ale. These are the sons that came to Nigeria to form the first Igbo community. So it's not, it's been proven. So Bible in itself is historic Igbo document. We have to reiterate that. Bible is not some faraway document, it is Igbo history. And Igbos have to realize they are one and the same with the people in the Bible, and this is their history, this is their identity, and that comes with some responsibility, being those entrusted with the Torah.
You see, there was this time, if my memory is still
serves you well,
you know, there was this time I was reading this book, Freddy Forsyth, that is the NdiEbeo reign. Dear Jonathan Netanyahu, who was the elder brother to the present Prime Minister of Israel, when he was the person who led the troops to NdiEbeo for the raid. When he was going, there was something he mentioned about Biafra too.
Right.
You understand me? He made mention of Biafra.
Okay.
And I remember also that during the war, I was a kid,
Right.
but there were two top Israeli officers living opposite our house.
Okay.
Stener.
Okay.
One was Stener, and one George.
Okay.
They were living opposite our house.
All right.
They wore Biafran signals and everything. They were going to the front.
So they were training the men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard part of that story.
No. I saw them. They were living opposite our house. Yeah. In the village.
The story of Biafra has not been well documented. Yeah. Again, there was a woman, an eyewitness account, who said those bombing Biafra were those of Caucasian race.
Of course.
She saw a helicopter come down. She could see the men in it bombing Biafra. They were Western-looking people. And now you're telling me there were Israelis on the ground helping with the training Biafra.
Yeah, that I saw myself.
I
saw myself vividly. Right. And let me tell you something. There was this incident that happened.
Right.
When I was a student in Greece, one time I visited Bulgaria, Sofia.
Right.
So our students were telling us about the riot they had. Right. That was in 1980 or 79, something like that. Right. Then Bulgaria was communist.
Right.
So they clamped down on them. So one professor came to the class,
right,
one of those days, explaining to them why should they be ungrateful.
Right.
After all they did for them Nigerians. That they were the people pilots who bombed Biafra. They were helping them to bomb Biafra. Without knowing that 70% of the students were Biafrans.
Really?
Yeah.
So he told it to the wrong people.
Yeah, you know.
What do you know?
Yeah.
So the Nigerians were basically fighting with the West against
Of course. A lot of conspiracies.
Yeah. We know there was a cover-up to cover the war, but we don't know what transpired. The history was before me, so I could not gather. But it would be nice to have a work to follow up on Biafra, to hear people's account of what they saw and witnessed.
No, we witnessed quite a lot.
Yeah.
We witnessed I was in 8 years or 9 years during that time. Okay. So I was also a member of BOF, Biafra Union of Freedom Fighters.
Okay. Yeah. The thing with Biafra today, there's a political tension, and this is why the conversation of Biafra will not be fitting for today. Mm-hmm. But because of the political tension, people are being shot now. But it is still part of the Igbo history that is not told. But our research is basically more on their Hebrew ancestry. We understand that the promise was made to Abraham, which passed on to Isaac, which is Isaac, and then Ikobi, which is Jacob. And then the promise Jacob had sons, which gave birth to the father of the Igbos. So Igbos are in one Israelite, because they are from the sons of Jacob. So if anybody is not from the family of Jacob, he is not Israel. This is also one other thing we have to understand. Or, for example, being a Yahudim. Among the Igbos, you have mixed tribes. You have the Yahudim tribe, you have the Levite, you have the Gadite, you have the Reubens, you have all kinds of tribes mixed up. But the majority of the tribes are the one I just mentioned now. That's why the people cannot call themselves by one tribe, because they are a mixed tribe. Okay?
Well, the only thing I have to say is that it has always happened in history. Right. If you win any war, you are the person that will write the history.
Naturally.
We know. So the thing is, no matter what they cleanse, no matter the documents erased, time will bring back those documents. The truth will come out.
The truth live in the people.
Oh, of course, within the people. Like the old man in Belgium who came out confessing some years ago how they killed Patrice Lumumba. Didn't you see the documentary? When he participated. Yes, he said it all. But they hid that for years until he came out. Right. About this guy the British guy who was secretary to Lord Lugard before they handed over to Nigeria. Because before the first election, he told us at his old age, some 10 years or so, how the election was rigged in favor of the North.
Right.
So truth, we know what goes on.
Yeah. So you were saying earlier that grandmother told you about being from the land of Israel. Did she tell you more things about that, or?
I cannot remember. I cannot remember, but it was not only about my grandmother,
Right.
because in my maternal home,
Right.
my maternal grandfather was the king of my village.
Okay.
He had up to 30-something wives,
Right.
at the large home.
Okay.
So we were eating from different pots,
Okay.
from his numerous wives,
Right.
whom I was lucky to. I met most of them.
Okay.
And they all had the same exclamations.
Right. Right. Right.
And their origin,
Right.
they had it.
Right.
That though they came from, this land, the holy this and that, holy
Right.
land or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
So it has been there.
Yeah. But it's good that at least they had an idea, an identity. But there's a lot of Igbos who does not have this identity. And what we find common is having multiple wives is almost as a signature to the people, because Solomon had about almost 1,000. Remember that. And King Hafon, which was the king of Judah in West Africa, had about 44 wives. And then I was explaining that this is common among the Igbos. They can have up to 30 to 40 wives. So having multiple wives is a way for them to show their wealth. So this is something also they have inherited from their brother Solomon, because they are one and the same people. Okay, quite interesting.
You see, first of all, I am aware that during those days we had large homes.
Okay.
It has to do with also economics.
Okay.
Because like my grandfather, who was the king,
Right.
he had also a large farming area.
Okay.
So even the called slaves, the Ohus,
Yeah.
they helped, but the children also had to help.
Right. Right.
You understand me?
Right.
So that was our destiny. And secondly,
Right.
I want to sound off by telling you that ye historians, especially the Igbo historians,
Right.
you have a lot of work to do.
Right.
Because also you are aware that within the 80s and the 90s,
Right.
most of our young men
Right.
came out from schools. They were not going to school because at the end of the day, they couldn't school because there was no job for them.
No job for them.
So most of them left looking for things to do to get money and to feed their homes.
Right.
So you have a lot of work to do. And in today's curriculum in Nigeria, they said they've cancelled history in our schools.
Right.
So please, you have a lot of job to do now.
Right.
No matter how you go about doing it, you cannot leave history.
Right. They say if you don't know where you come from, how can you know?
You know where you're going to. So please, you have a lot of work to do now.
I think that it makes more sense why our documentary fits that purpose, because as you said, there is a lot of educated people among the Igbos, but there is no job to compensate.
Yes.
So the system is not really working as it was designed. But in the old times, the tradition was a different way.
Of course, we had good history teachers, good opportunities to get to do one or two jobs or something like that. But they are lacking today.
But now they're not there anymore. Like we explained prior, is that the first Europeans came into the Igbo land in the 19th century, 1830 thereabout. They have been traveling Africa in the 15th and 16th, but they have not ventured inland. When they came inland, we gave some of the evidence with Mungo Park, writing that the people, the Negroes, had Torah in their hands. And some other documents explain that the name of Yahweh was known to the Africans prior to the Europeans coming. Now remember that. The Africans never had Bible prior to the Europeans coming, but they had Torah, which is ancient Hebrew document. Only they did not know the Bible and the Torah is one and the same document, but in different languages. Quite interesting. There is an Igbo slave, Oluda Ikwano, Oluda was a slave but he bought his freedom back, and he then became a slave abolitionist. He was explaining that his people, Igbo, are one and the same people who are in the Bible, that his custom is one and the same as the Jews of the Bible. But what Olu did not know was he himself is a Jew and a Hebrew Israelite from that point of view. Because the document was in English, he did not understand. I was making a point, if he was Igbo people, he would know these are his people because the customs are the same. Yeah. Olu explained how they were practicing festival, the new moon, celebrating circumcision, which is common among the Igbos. But he did not realize this is his people.
The thing is, as I told you, I saw my grandfather's shrine or my grandfather's shrines,
right,
both maternal and paternal.
Okay.
I saw some of my paternal grandfather's incantations and everything.
Okay.
But I'm yet to compare it because I don't know how the Jews
right.
worship.
Right.
I know nothing about it.
Right.
Especially the Orthodox ones.
Right.
Every day there could be some things that are,
Yeah, there is all kinds of Judaism. There is Kabbalah. There is Talmudic Judaism. There is Mosaic. What we have is what is called the Mosaic.
That's what I'm saying. Let's assume.
Yeah.
I want to see those. I mean, the Mosaic. I want to see their way of worship.
Yeah, it's what the Igbos have.
Yeah, okay.
It's one and the same what the Igbos have. This is why you have to understand the Igbos kept it from the book of Oluda Ikwama. I was able to gather that as back as 1740s, the Igbos were keeping to the same traditions which was commanded by Moses in the Torah. So this is very old tradition. It didn't come with the Europeans. That is one of the point we're trying to make with this argument. Because a lot of people think that these things came later with Christianity. No, it did not come later. The Igbos had it. They knew their God. Chukwu Okike, Chukwu Abiyama,
Yeah, Chukwu Abiyama, yeah.
which is the God that people worship. So these were God that was the name that was known to the people. It was not something that the Europeans brought to the people, because what you hear is Europeans thought Africans God of faith. That is not true. That is incomplete. The Africans knew God, we say.
But they taught us Christianity. That's
They brought Christianity
to us. Yeah,
Christianity. That is correct.
that is
correct.
The thing is this, I think more research should be done, more, because even if it means reaching out to our counterparts in France and others to see if they can unearth some documents. Because what I know about the world today, especially Europeans, at times they force out the truth.
Right.
By their own ways, it leaks out.
There is a conjecture, not a conjecture. People say if history does not fit the European perspective, it is erased.
Erased, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like this history we're discussing now does not fit that perspective, so it is erased to put their own history. Yeah. Like as you said earlier, any power would like to rewrite history to fit its own purpose.
Yeah.
And this is no different. So we're just bringing back the clock to when people in the 18s, in the 17s, you were a people, a powerful kingdom among the Africans. You ruled the continent.
And that is why I said we should be steadfast in documenting our history and keeping it sacred for us.
And teaching it.
It's very, very important.
Without a history, you don't know who you are.
That is why when they are talking about national conference in Nigeria, look, I don't care about living with other tribes.
Right.
It makes Nigeria great.
Right.
But the thing is, we should regionalize Nigeria.
Right.
You can worship the way you like. Each region can do what they like.
Right.
Let us have a weak center.
Right.
Whereby they can be collecting taxes on providing the army and one or two amenities for the country. But let us regionalize so that any person can be free to live the way they want to live. to worship whom they feel like worshiping, to put some curriculum in their educational system.
Right.
So that is it. That suits their own way of life or their way of doing things. That's
absolutely, freedom for all.
For all,
what we believe
the
true Nigerian identity should be. One tribe dominating the other.
No. That's why I said we should regionalize. Yeah. That is the only way peace can come
to Nigeria.
Yeah.
But the Igbos are a strong people. They, as you say, they have the power of commerce. For them, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
This is something they probably inherited from their fathers, the patriarchs of Israel.
Yeah.
They are very wealthy, very educated, very industrious people. So if the Nigeria is to split, the Igbos will succeed. Why? Because they are very industrious people. They are very economists. They know how to produce and how to work things out. But the thing is, to keep Nigeria going, it has to have some clear leadership.
Yeah. And you see, one thing is I've come to cherish since I came to Europe. It's when I look there. If I look out, I see the white, the Asian, the black people, and it's part of my religion. In Christ's kingdom, it reminds me of where Christ wanted the world to be. And as a Nigerian and an Igbo person, I wouldn't want us. There is unity in diversification. So we can take other tribes. There are things we learn from them.
Absolutely.
Even look at us today. For example, when you go to some Igbo people, when you go to Yoruba land, believe you me, the way they rush Amala, you'll be surprised. You know, they've taken into that subculture.
Yeah.